Now, let me get brief comments from my guests who are willing to make very brief comments to do so. I qualified that because of you. Is Clara on now? Hello, Clara.
Hello, yeah, I'm on. I've
right.
actually been.
Right. Thank you very much. Now, Clara, what do you say? What should be done? It looks like we keep coming back here, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately. First, let me say good morning to your viewers and listeners, to my colleague panelists in the studio. Before I say my thoughts, I must say that I read this news again with a lot of sadness over this issue. My condolences to the families who have lost loved ones, and my condolences to all the people of Bawku. And of course, the appeal for peace has been made over and over again for many years now. But we must all admit that appeals for peace alone are not going to resolve the whatever issue that is it. So I have listened to all sides. I've also read a bit about the dispute. And what I find concerning is that at this point, I'm not going to talk to the security issue. I leave that to the security experts, but I will talk about issues of dispute resolution because that is my area. Now, what I find concerning is how we have diagnosed this problem. The reason is that diagnosing a problem is very important to being able to solve it well. If you get the diagnosis wrong, it is chances of you being able to get a good solution are also not as high. So listening to all sides and reading about it, it appears that we still aren't very clear what the cause of the present conflict is. Whilst some relate it to a conflict, an unresolved conflict, others say that when it comes to the dispute has been resolved, but that this is the work of jihadists or terrorists. Now the question is, so what is it? I think we have to be very honest with ourselves in determining what exactly this is. We've known that there have been unresolved disputes for quite a while. It will be very refreshing if the dispute has been resolved. But I think we need to be very careful and find out whether, in fact, the dispute has been resolved. Now, let me situate our current dispute resolution processes in context. The reason is because if you reflect back to the history, it helps in how we are able to effectively resolve disputes. My co-two panelists, Colonel Festus Abuaji and Mr. Victor, have already said a lot about it. I'll just summarize it in respect of the legal system. Now, of course, we all know the colonial situation, and when the colonialists came, of course, that they also ran a parallel system in the sense that they had the colonial administration with the colonial courts for dispute resolution, and then we had the traditional authorities through chieftaincy with also their systems. So there was a kind of parallel system. Now, when it came to effective dispute resolution, the colonial administration was only interested in the bit that they could use for the indirect rule. So they got involved to the extent that it was affecting their business, but they didn't seem to care that much if it wasn't affecting their business. So it was not necessarily working in the interest of the people, but they would come in to use force and to use at least determine which chieftaincy rule they could use indirect rule to achieve their ends. And so that, in a way, affected the traditional system that we had that was more capable
and
of handling.
And in this case, the accusation was that the Mamprusis were sort of the guys who were working for the white man, and the white man more preferred them, and so on.
Okay. So now we would have independence, and we kept the dual system in the sense that we still had the traditional structures and we have the state apparatus. It is our responsibility to now make sure that these systems interact in a way that benefits the people, and that results in effective dispute resolution. It is for that reason that I agree that we have to be to be more careful and more deliberate in the way we analyze the issue. We need all stakeholders in dispute resolution, because we need to find out, one, is there a dispute or is there not a dispute? If there is a dispute, how do we resolve the dispute? We must, through government must also get involved in the sense that it has to be effectively resolved, so that we find a lasting resolution of that dispute and enforce that resolution. We have a number of dispute resolution mechanisms that we could deploy if we are willing to be painstaking and to really be deliberate and want to resolve this dispute.
Yes, so Clara,
yes.
from where you sit as an expert in alternative dispute resolution, what should they be looking to, assuming they have not explored that already? Is it conciliation? Who can lead a process in this place?
Now, first and foremost, it's actually determining what the dispute is and determining what is important to each side. So that I would be hesitant to recommend a particular mechanism at this stage. Mediation is usually the most popular, in the sense that it is able to get all sides on the table, and then it's more, it provides more room to explore different kinds of resolutions that satisfy everybody. So, of course, even generally you would say, let's go for mediation. But mediation also works depending on the nature of the dispute. So appropriately diagnosing the dispute is critical to being able to effectively choose a mechanism that would work for the effective resolution of the conflict, so that we can have peace for all of us. I don't think anybody wants to see loss of lives of any person in Bawku.
Okay.
So I would say, yes, it's unfortunate, but we must get back to the table and honestly decide what is the cause of what is going on now.
All right, thank you.